Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we check in with the Finance Department. My guest today is Nancy Masteller, Budget Officer for the City of Ames. Nancy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's been a while since you've been on the show.
It is, yes.
And you've been busy. This is your busy time of the year.
It
you
is.
are primarily working on city budget.
That's correct.
Tell me a little bit about that process. I know that we are kind of at the tail end of it, but it started several months ago.
That's right. In finance, we started to work on the process usually in August, early September, and start with our internal service funds, which are the funds that support other departments within the city, such as IT and fleet services.
So the new fiscal year is barely started.
Correct.
July 1st.
That's right.
And a month or two later, you're working on the next.
That's right.
The next fiscal
year.
year.
And actually, I think we actually technically sort of work on it all year round because we're always gathering public input. As you know, the Citizen Satisfaction Survey goes out, which gives us a lot of information. The City Council meets to develop their goals that they would like to work on during the year. So we're always kind of heading toward that direction, and then we start in our department, start really working on it in late August and early September.
The public part, or the official kickoff is always that town budget meeting in October,
correct.
And then there's just sort of a series of steps after that.
Right. When we do the town budget meeting, we get a lot of really great input from the public at that meeting that the council members all take into consideration. And then we always do a budget issues meeting in either late November or early December, which is where by that time we kind of know how we ended the prior fiscal year, so we kind of know what our financial situation is and have a little more information about local option sales tax receipts and road use tax. So we can just give the council an update of kind of what they can expect going into the budget season so they can kind of set their priorities.
Yeah, and now that we're in February, we kicked off with an overview meeting, and now we're into the budget hearings.
Yes, the budget hearings will be on February, I believe it's 7th, 8th, and 9th, and the departments come in and do their presentations to the city council members one at a time, so everyone in the public is invited to listen to them, and then we do our final budget wrap-up on February 14th, which is the night that public can come and give public input.
So some of these really basic questions that I often get about the budget,
Sure.
I'll try to stump you on these. How big is the operating budget?
You think I would know. It's approximately, I believe, $280-some million.
Wow, and I've been telling people 280.
Yes.
So that's a large amount of money to track.
Yes.
What is the biggest source of revenue?
Our biggest source of revenue for the city are actually our utility fees that we collect. Many cities don't have utilities, but in Ames we have the electric utility, the water, the sanitary sewer, the stormwater utility, and resource recovery, and that is by far and away our largest source of revenue to the city.
So as you know, I do a tour with third graders, and I talk about that fees for service, and it really is an interesting concept for them to get their hands around that we provide these big services that most entities are not wanting to take on.
That's right.
Yeah, and then that also is, in addition to being the biggest revenue, also the biggest expenditure.
Yes. The money from the utilities goes to fund the utilities. It's not ever intermingled with our general, what we call our general, revenue sources, such as property taxes and road use tax, local option tax. We treat the utilities as a business. The money comes into them, and the money is stayed to support their operations and their capital improvements as well.
So there's probably a lot of things about the budget that people don't really quite understand, and I'm going to have you sort of think about that as we talk a little bit more about the budget hearings. These are overviews from the departments. They're kind of explaining how we spend the money.
Correct.
And they don't go into very much detail. They kind of stay at a high level.
No. During the presentations especially, they stay at a pretty high level. It's just sort of an overview. we'll have all of the budget numbers there, but they really just explain any significant changes and just kind of go over highlights from their year, so the city council is aware of it and the public as well. But we always have much more detail available if anyone from the public is interested.
Well, I always tell people, if you just are curious about a department, what they do, and highlights from the past year, there tend to be a lot of photographs,
Correct.
not a lot of text, and it really gives you, sort of encapsulates, if you
Right.
really were curious, you know, what is the purpose of the Parks and Recreation Department, or what services does Public Works provide? I think that budget hearing is a really interesting way to learn that.
Yeah, I agree. And the budget is also available on our website. It's a good chance. We try to make it as user-friendly as possible. There are a lot of numbers in it, but there are also, we encourage the departments to do text with their highlights and to add pictures to just kind of give an overview of what their departments do every year and what services they provide to the citizens of Ames.
Well, again, those meetings are 5:15
Yes,
on the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
that's correct.
And they're open to the public, so certainly if you have an interest in the budget, you'll want to attend. Okay, Nancy, any thoughts on the strange or questions you've gotten about the budget over the years, or?
No, I think, we've done such a good job of providing public input that I think the people in Ames really have a fairly good understanding of it, and I can't even really think of a strange question that I've gotten off the top of my head. People are very familiar with it, especially if they have an interest in it and are actually coming to the meetings and asking questions. They are very educated about the process.
Sure, and those budget documents are available on our website, cityofames.org/finance.
That's correct.
Well, I know this is a busy time for you, so thank you for spending some time with us today.
You bet.
Again, if you'd like more information about the budget, including that schedule, make sure to check out the City of Ames website, cityofames.org. You can find all your budget information there on the finance page, as well as the meeting notices on our calendar. Some other things to think about. I know it's cold out, but if you're thinking ahead to the summer, this is the time to buy your discounted tickets to the Furman Aquatic Center. We have discounts on season passes through May 1st. You'll get a 15% discount if you're a current season pass holder and a 10% discount if you're a new one. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.